Welcome, Journey of You community. I am so excited today to introduce you to Miss Miranda Illigore. I had the pleasure of meeting her a couple of weeks ago, and I was so impressed that I was like, everybody has to meet her too. And so I welcomed her here on the show today. So, Miss Miranda, welcome and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Of course, of course. Tell us a little bit about you.
My name is Miranda Illigore. I am recently married. I got married in 2022, so I'm coming up on 2 years. I have four little babies, a 9-year-old, twin 4-year-olds, and a fresh newborn. She's 4 months. I live in Winterville, North Carolina. Currently working from home. I've been working remote since the pandemic, so in 2019, and I absolutely love it because I get to spend time with my family that I would normally not get be able to spend with them. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I can go deeper in as we go on with the podcast.
Definitely. So you mentioned working remotely and having four kiddos at home. Tell me a little bit about how you balance work and family and still find like that time to just be yourself.
It's been a little different. So I can talk about the different phases. So the first phase, whenever we first went into the pandemic, I had just had the twins.
Mhm.
So I had them in November 2019, and I think the world shut down around March
Yep.
of 2020.
Hmm.
So as soon as my 6 weeks, 8 weeks was up on my maternity leave, I went back to work. And then like the week after was when everything shut down, and they were like, "Oh, well, you can go work from home," which was great for me. So I came back home. I was here with the twins, and not too soon after, I was like, "Oh, this is very overwhelming." Working and then the twins, and then trying to, be two
Yeah.
different places at one time. So we ended up hiring a nanny to come and sit in so the twins could still stay in the house and not have to go, out to daycare and
Yeah.
be around all the germs and
Yes.
especially with COVID being new.
Yeah.
So we got a nanny to come in. So that went really well. So she would like be in the living room and then I would be in my office working. It was amazing. So we did that for the first 2 years of their lives. They were home with me and I was working from home. It was really good. It was a really good balance. And then fast forward, we ended up putting them in daycare. So then it was just me at home. So I was working. I found time in my spare time where I found where I would complete my work ahead of time or anything like that. I would start working on my own business. So at that point, I was doing lash extensions. I would do a
Mhm.
client in between meetings. I was fitting stuff in. I was like, okay, I got a break. I'm gonna go get a pedicure right quick. I'm gonna go get a massage. Like I was fitting time in to
Yeah.
go in and have that self-care things for me to do while I was home and while I was still working. Not on the clock, but like in between
Yeah.
meetings or in between stuff like that. So that was going really well. And then we have this new little quarter of where I'm home with the newborn. And I find that easier because it's just one. So I
Yeah.
kind of just put her on her schedule
Yeah.
and then I'm working and just go back and forth. So yeah, that's my little I just find a different routine. Life is ever changing. So whatever situation I'm in, I adapt to it. And that's just how it goes.
True. And life is continually changing. But even in that, like you still found time, like you said, for self care and to take care of you so that
Yes.
you could still pour out to everyone else. What would you say kind of
Yes.
helped you like stay grounded or keep that balance of where you were prioritizing your job too?
I would say, well, I have a couple of things. So one, I would always start my workday off with journaling and
Mhm.
praying. So I always talk to God, ask Him to lead and guide my day. I always journal, writing out how I'm feeling, writing out if I'm going through something, just get it out of my mind onto
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And I was also in therapy. So those three things, the God in therapy, that's like the secret
Yeah.
to life, like, that will get you through anything, so, yeah, just doing those 2 things kept me grounded with everything that was going on.
Absolutely. And I think that there's always like that stigma around like therapy, and it's like, oh, something's wrong, don't go to
Mhm.
therapy. But it's like, I
Yep,
want us to be able to really paint that picture of like, it's not, it's really a good thing. It doesn't mean that something's wrong with you. At the same time, there's something wrong with all of us, but not in like the negative way
right.
where it's like, oh, you have problems. Like,
Yep,
no, like you need, to your point where you're like journaling and getting those things out, you need someone to be able to talk to through those neutral spaces. So what made you decide to like take that step
absolutely.
to like go to therapy and walk through that journey?
So, and it's really funny, I just saw a post the other day that was like, most people that are in therapy are because of someone who won't go to therapy. So,
That's good.
so just a kind of a backstory. So my sister and I, we were kinda going back and forth about something, and she had called me selfish. And I was like, and at that point, I had been in therapy for a while. Well, no, I wasn't in therapy. I was kind of trying to work on myself
Mhm.
by myself. So I was trying to be my own therapist. So when she said it, I kind of reflected, and I'm like, well, I thought I had worked on that. I thought I wasn't selfish anymore, or I thought I was better. So it was kind of like a slap in the face. So I was like, okay, I think it's time for me to reach out to someone else who is qualified that can really help me get through things that I need to see about myself so that I can work on them.
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of what got me into therapy. And the crazy thing is we talked about that for 2 weeks and then we went like we jumped into something else that she
Yeah.
dug up out of me. And then that it was like an everlasting cycle of, oh, I found this. We need to fix this. And then I found this. We need to fix this. And it was just very eye-opening. It was the best experience ever. I'm so glad that my sister said that to me to get me to
Yeah.
the point of reaching out to a therapist.
And kudos to you for, like, not internalizing that and then, just locking it away and staying in isolation, but actually being like, "Okay, maybe there's some truth in that. What can I do to fix it?" Or to help. And to your
Yeah,
point, then you're able to uncover deeper stuff that you might not even know was there, but it just helps you to continually evolve,
exactly.
along that journey and become better. So kudos to you for being self-aware enough to know to do that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What have been like your aha moments or even major obstacles that you've had to overcome along your journey to get to where you're at today?
I would say one aha moment was, I was at work one day, and I think I shared this story with you, during the interview.
Mhm.
But I was at work one day, um, and I was very unhappy. I was just there just to get a check. I didn't like what I was doing. I was bored. I didn't like where I was in life. It just felt like I was in a very dark place. And looking back, I more than likely was depressed.
Mhm.
Um, so I started crying. And then one of my coworkers walked in. And it was actually one of the doctors at the office that I was working at. So she walked in, she was like, "What's going on?" Just asking me questions, and, she told me about one of her colleagues that worked at a college that was kinda like a life coach. That's what
Mhm.
she was. She was like, "Go talk to her, she can help you, figure out where you wanna be or what career you wanna go, if you wanna go back to school, if you wanna do this." So I was like, "Okay, I'll go talk to her." And fast forward, I talked to her. She asked me a couple of questions. She was like, I think therapy would be really good for you. So I was like, okay, I can see that because I love talking to people. I'm always the friend who other friends come to when they need to vent or get something off their chest. Strangers will just come up to me and like vent their whole life story out. So I was like, I must have that spirit of talking to. Like people just love talking to me
Mhm.
and expressing themselves to me. So that's kind of what got me into therapy. So I applied to Northeastern. I got in, started school. I have no idea how I did it because like I said, at that point, I had just had the twins as well. So I'm like, okay, school, working from home,
Wow.
COVID. How am I gonna do all this?
Yes.
And to this day, I have no idea how I did it, but I got through it. 2 years of getting my master's in marriage and family therapy, so many hours of observation, balancing working, balancing being a new mom of twins. It was a lot, but I got there. And to
That
this day,
is
I know it was nobody but God, because
yes.
that was a lot. As
That
I
is
say it out loud, that was so much.
yeah.
But
Master's
yes,
degree,
that's kinda how I got
twins,
it.
and working all at the same time. Yeah. Let's give you a round of
Yes.
applause, 'cause that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yes, ma'am.
Now
Yes,
that
it was a
you
lot. I can't believe it, but I'm glad I went through it.
yes, absolutely. What do you wanna do, like, go forward now that you have that degree, you know, and the twins are older? Like, what do you see yourself doing from here forward?
So, I have to retake the marriage and family therapy exam. So I took that. That's another story. I have so many stories. So I took the exam. I didn't pass the exam. So okay, just a backstory on that. So the day I went to take the exam,
Mhm.
I was more than halfway through the exam and the electricity cut off. So all the computers in the testing center, like everything just went out. Nothing was saved. So everybody had to retake their test. So I'm like, okay, like this, yes. I was like, this is crazy. What is going to happen now? So they gave us all a ticket. So we had to retake our test basically. So I retook it and I failed it by, I think it was like 5 points. So I was like, what is going on, God? Why did this happen? So I just prayed about it and I kind of just left it in God's hands. I'm like, okay, if it was meant for me to pass it, I know I would have. I don't know what's going on in this area, but I'm going to leave it to you. And I know that you'll bring it back to me whenever I need to jump back in and do it.
Yeah.
Um, and I honestly think that this is just my interpretation, but I feel like that situation kind of led me into applying to the job that I'm in now, which is working from home for with Washington State Department of Health.
Mhm.
Because not too soon after I got pregnant again. So so I was able to just thinking about it, if I would have passed the exam, I probably would have been doing therapy
Yeah.
and then I would have been pregnant, just out, like not being able to be home and be comfortable.
Yeah.
And just I just enjoyed this last pregnancy because I was able to be home and just enjoy being pregnant versus having to, wake up early, get dressed,
Yep.
go to work, just the whole everything that you would normally have to do. So that's just my interpretation of why that
Yeah.
happened. It could not be why, but that's how I feel. God has a funny way of, getting us into the where we need to be. So
It's so
that's
true.
just how
It's
I
so true.
interpret it.
And I love your interpretation too, because it's like you still found the beauty in that that came out of it because God always works everything out for our good. And even walking through that, it could have been like,
Exactly.
man, why did the power go out? Why wasn't I able to pass the test? But it was
Mhm.
like, no, look at the beautiful things that happened out of that. And like you said, when the time is right, you're
Right.
going to go do it again. But it's perfect for the season that you're in right now.
Exactly.
So I love that. I love
Exactly. That is perfectly said. Yep.
it. Yeah, I think you're looking at it right. W-
Yes.
What would you say then to other women that maybe they're walking through some similar paths, that maybe there are obstacles in their way and they're having a hard time seeing the positive in it or seeing where God's hand is moving? They can only see maybe the problem that's right in front of them. What, advice or what would you tell them?
I would tell them, for one, my advice is always to pray. I know that some people is always like, it may be like, okay, I prayed, now what?
Mhm.
Um, God hears you. He always hears. He's always there with us. So you're not alone on this journey. You're not alone with the situation that you're going through. There's someone in you. There's someone beside you, and He is going to lead you out of the situation. And then my advice after would be to talk to someone because we were not made to do life alone.
Mhm.
Ask God to lead the right person to you so that you can, get the stuff out that's bothering you so they can help you with their situation. A lot of people, when you go through things, you're not going through it for yourself. You're going through it to help someone along that's coming after you that's going to go through the same thing. So I would say talk to someone, find someone to talk to. We kind of have to get out of that whole stigma of I don't want anyone in my business or, not trusting people. We kind of have to, and I say we as African Americans, we have to get out of that whole mindset because
Mhm.
that is a lot of our mindset. I don't want to tell anyone my business. I'm going to just handle it on my own. We got to get out of that. So pray, find someone to talk to, journal,
Yeah.
write down your problems, write down what you're going through, write down how you want your life to look, write down how you desire to get out of the situation. What do you want to learn from this situation? You have to kind of have these conversations with yourself. You can just have it in your mind, or it's best to just get it out on paper. So those are always that's always my advice to people. Pray, talk to somebody, journal, get it out, and just focus on the good things. Talk to yourself every morning and tell yourself, I'm going to have a good day regardless of what this situation is I'm going through. I'm going to be happy today. No matter what comes my way, no matter what happens, no matter who calls me with bad news, no matter what bill is past due, no matter what the doctor is telling me is going wrong with me, yeah, I'm gonna have a good day. I'm gonna trust God and I'm gonna have a good day. And that's just how you gotta talk to yourself. You have to put it out. You have to get it out. You have to think it, and then you have to say it out loud.
So very true. So very true. And I love that you even talked about like the mindset because that's literally where it all stems from. It's that mindset, those things we've either been conditioned to think or believe, those
Yeah,
things that we've been told. And so we know that that's like the only thing that we know. And so that's what we're believing. But again, it's every day waking up and having that choice. Yes, you're talking to God and praying, you're journaling. You have that support that you need where you have somebody else that you can reach out to help you in those moments where you get stuck in those mindsets that can help kind of pull you along. So I love that. I think it's critical.
absolutely.
I think that not enough people have that support or that it's there, but they don't know. They either
Mhm.
are too stubborn to reach out for it,
Yeah,
or they're just not sure who do I reach out to because of that lack of trust, like you talked about. And so I would love it for any of the women that are listening right now for you to just be able to cover them in prayer, that they are able to reach out and connect, with you, with me, with whoever they need to keep moving forward so that they can wake up each day and choose to have a good day.
yeah, I agree. Lord, I come to you as humble as I know how. First off, thanking you for everything that you've done in our lives. I thank you for making this connection with myself and Miss Tanya. I pray that you continue to allow us to help women in need, women who need someone to talk to, women who need someone to go to. I pray that you allow us to be their light. And for the women who don't know who to reach out to, God, I pray that you lead them to whoever it is they need to reach out to, God. I pray that you show them that there is someone here they can talk to. I pray that you allow us to have open ears, open hearts, and anyone that they reach out to, I pray that they will be the right person with open ears and open hearts to help them get through their situation. I pray that you release a mood of knowing that we need someone. We need people. You did not put us here on earth to be alone or to go through life alone. We all have someone that we can talk to. So I pray that you just lead every one of us to someone that we can talk to and the right person to get us where you want us to be, God. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Yes, yes, I love that. And it's so needed. And if you're listening right now and you want to connect with Miranda, get ready. I'm going to tell you her email. It's Miranda, it's Maranda dot Faison, Faison at gmail.com. So you can connect with her there. You can connect with me as well. You can call the Journey of You at 678-310-4357. Get connected. It is so important. We need community. We need each other. Iron sharpens iron. Miranda, I want to thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story, even the struggles, how you're able to walk through it, just the importance of keeping God first in our life and just journaling and therapy and how critical that is. And to your point that you said for African American women, especially, absolutely. We need that.
Yes,
And so I thank you for sharing, and just for even being here with us today.
you're welcome. I was glad to be here. I'm so glad that you reached out to me. And
Absolutely.
like I said, I'm glad that we were connected.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And are there any like last words that you want to tell anybody, or if you're just like, there's a woman listening right now, and this is what I want you to know? Is there anything you want them to hear?
Um, I'm almost certain that there's a woman listening right now that that would need to hear my story. 'Cause like I said, we don't go through stuff for us, we go through it for other people. So, um, to the woman that is listening that is feeling stuck or that is feeling like, "Oh, I'm behind in life, I'm not where I thought I would be." Um, I wanna just encourage you that to embrace this moment of not knowing, because when we're in a moment of not knowing, that's when God is working. That is when God is has our attention because it's like, oh well, I feel like I can't go to anyone else, so I'm just gonna let God figure it out, or I'm just going to leave it alone. And most of the time, that's what God kind of wants us to do because we kind of, we have vision boards, we have where we try to figure out how we want our year to look. And then God is kind of like, well, no, that is good that you have this idea, but what about how I want your year to look? What about my plan of how I want your year to look? So I just want to encourage everyone to just let go of the wheel and let God take over because that is the road least taken, but is the road that needs to be taken because God is gonna give us what we need. He's gonna give us what we want. He's gonna give us what we desire if we just listen to him and trust him. And I hear God say that to me all the time. I'll be stressed about something, um, and God will just whisper to me, and He'll just say, "Trust me." And I know it's Him because I know it's not me because I'm stressed in the situation. I'm over here, anxiety, tears. So I know it's no one but Him. So yeah, just trust God, let Him take the wheel, and just allow Him to lead you.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. And ladies, remember, this is your journey. It's where your life begins. So, as Miranda just said, trust God in the road that needs to be taken. Thank you again, Miranda. We appreciate you being here. Ladies, be encouraged. Reach out, connect with us. We'll talk to you soon.